Welcome to the Feed for All podcast creation tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be going over how to create a basic podcast. For more information on creating an iTunes podcast, please watch our iTunes podcasting tutorial. The first step is to run the program, so find the shortcut for Feed for All and double-click on it. When you first run the program, you'll see this splash screen. If you would like to purchase the software, left-click on the Buy Now button. If you've already purchased, please watch our Feed for All registration tutorial. To continue to use the trial version, left-click on Continue. After you left-click on Continue, a prompt will come up and ask if you want to use the Feed for All creation wizard. For the purposes of this tutorial, left-click on Yes. In the first step of the Feed Creation Wizard, left-click on Next. In the second step, the wizard will ask what type of feed you would like to create. There are currently 3 available options: Standard RSS feed, Standard Podcast, and iTunes Podcast. For the purposes of this tutorial, please select Standard Podcast and then left-click on Next. In the third step, the wizard will ask you for a feed title. Your feed title is the overall name of the feed that you would like to be displayed. Enter the title for your feed in the space provided, and then left-click on Next. In the fourth step, the wizard will ask you for a feed description. Your feed description should be a short, concise description of the purpose or content of the feed itself, not the items, which we'll get to later. After entering the description for your feed, left-click on Next. In the fifth step, you'll need to give the feed a link. Most feed links reference your website. For example, in this tutorial, we'll use our website, www.feedforall.com. After entering the link to your website, left-click on Next. When you left-click on Next, you'll see the Item Introduction section. This is the section we can use to create individual items for our podcast. So, left-click on Next to start the Item Creation Wizard. In the first step of the Item Creation Wizard, you'll need to enter a title for the item. In the space provided, enter a short title. After entering the title, left-click on Next. In the second step, you'll need to enter a short description of the item in the space provided. After entering a short description of the item, left-click on Next. In the third step, it will ask you for the item link. The items link should be a URL to a web page that contains the full version of the information this item represents. After entering a link to the item, left-click on Next. In the fourth step, you'll be asked for the item enclosure information. The item enclosure information is used to add audio files to your podcast. In the first section, the URL, you'll need to give a link to an audio component for your webcast. This should be an audio file, whether a WAV, MP3, or other format, that you have already uploaded to your website. When you upload that audio file to your website will assign that file a URL. In this example, I've uploaded a sample WAV file to my website. You'll notice that after you enter the URL, the type will automatically fill in for you. The length field does not refer to the audio length of the file. It refers to the size of the file in bytes. If you don't know how to determine the length of a file, here's what you'll want to do. Locate the audio file on your hard drive. You may need to download the audio file to your hard drive to do this. Once you've located the file, right-click on it, then left-click on Properties. In the Properties of the file, you should see the size field. This is the number you'll need to enter into the length field. Once you've entered the length, left-click on Next. On the final prompt of the configuration wizard, you can either click on Finish to complete the wizard, or you can click on Add Item to add a new item with the Item Creation Wizard. After you click on Finish, the program will ask you if you would like to save the new feed. Click on Yes. A new prompt will come up and it will ask you what you want to name the feed. This is the file name for the feed and it is what will be referenced on your website. Enter the name of the feed and then left-click on Save. This concludes the Feed for All podcast creation tutorial. For more information, including tutorials on creating iTunes podcasts, please visit our website, www.feedforall.com.